This side hustle business idea is so easy that I really still doubt whether I should make this video or not, because by sharing this idea I'm creating the competition for myself. So if you like this video, if you find it interesting and useful, you owe me a like, because then it will at least help my YouTube channel to grow. So the business idea that I'm going to share with you involves selling retro Mega Drive games on the internet. If you know nothing about Mega Drive games, then don't worry about it, because I swear I haven't played one game in my lifetime, and still it creates a very healthy profit at the end of the month. At the end of the video I'm going to share with you the exact numbers that I managed to achieve following this business model, though make sure you keep watching this video until the end if you want to find out how much money you can make as well. So let's start. The concept of this business is very easy. You have to find a game and buy it at a cheaper price than what you can sell it for. So the step number one is to find the actual games. There are several places where you can find them. First place is eBay, but I find it very hard to find an underpriced games on eBay. eBay is the main platform where I sell them later on. Nevertheless, especially at auctions on eBay, sometimes you can still find a very good deal. The place number two is Marketplace, and this is the main place where I find my games. What I usually do is search for a keyword, something like retro Mega Drive games, Genesis games, and sometimes I might include the word bundle, and then I increase the search to the maximum possible. You don't have to search for the games only in a local area, because the majority of people are up for posting them anyway. You can also ask your friends, because a lot of people have this type of games in the loft and they don't know the value of these games. They think that they are worthless. And the last place that I recommend are the flea markets or car boot sales that we have a lot of in the UK. You can also try looking for specific Facebook groups and pages by searching the keyword something like Mega Drive games collectors or Mega Drive games reselling. Your task number two is to check what exactly you are buying and how much you can sell it on, to understand your margins. For that you have to check the exact names of games and the condition of those games in a bundle, and then go on eBay and check for the prices that these same games have already sold for. Put all this information in an Excel file and you will understand how much money it will be possible for you to make. And don't forget to include all the expenses such as postages or eBay commissions if you try to sell them on eBay. Once you have the games in your house, your task is to check the condition of those games to understand how much money you will be able to get for them exactly. You have to check the overall condition of the game, and then ideally you would have the cartridge, the box and the manual inside this box. The main thing that you have to check for is whether these games work or not. For that you obviously have to test them yourself, and the extra perk of this business is you can actually play each game yourself before you sell them on. Yeah, I tried doing it as well. Right, the next task is to list those games on eBay, Marketplace and all other platforms that you can think of. Listing doesn't take long at all, and once you list one game, don't include any specific words of the name of the game, for example, in the description, because in that way you can just copy paste it onto all the next listings that you are going to make. You just have to change the title and the price. And that's it. Then you have to wait for your games to sell, and you have to go to the post office and post them. It sounds easy, and it actually is easy, but of course there are some disadvantages. The disadvantage number one is that you have to invest into these games on the first place, and of course there is a risk that it will not get sold. The other disadvantage and the risk is that you will be scammed. I was scammed myself once for £25. The way to overcome that is to use your due diligence and common sense. Pay only a deposit and don't pay the full price before you receive the games. That's in case you agree for the person to post these games to you by post. The next disadvantage is that the income is not reliable. You cannot rely on it on a week-to-week basis or a month-to-month basis, but that's the case with any business. And the biggest disadvantage for me is that it's not necessarily passive. It's not much of a hassle, and I have the freedom to decide when to work, and I don't work when I don't want to work. But if I decide to go on holiday, then obviously there will be nobody to do this job for me. I have to stay in one place and I cannot work from everywhere in the world, because I have to have these games near me, and I have to be able to go to the post office to send them. Okay, now let's look at my numbers. So I started doing it 3 months ago. By a complete accident, my relatives asked me to look into their loft and get the rubbish out and sell it on if possible. And there was this bag of games which at first I thought was worthless, but then I found out that some of the games are worth hundreds of pounds. That made me think that maybe there are other people who don't know the value of the games that they are selling, and I saw a great opportunity there. I was lucky enough to find my first bundle about 10 days after my original discovery. I found this bundle for only £10, and a couple of weeks later I sold the whole bundle for £800, which made me a profit of £790. Just because of how easy it was, I decided to do it again. I must admit that it is quite hard to find a bargain as good as this one, but since then I bought a total of 535 games, out of which 300 have already been sold, and I keep buying them all the time, selling them on with the selling rate of about 40%, which is very high. I concentrate on big margins. For that, I have to buy expensive, rare games on the first place. The way of how I decide which games I'm interested in and which games I'm not interested in is by checking the price of these games on eBay, and also at the very start I googled the keywords like the most valuable Mega Drive games. Some of them are worth thousands of pounds, and in that way I know that if I see that game in a bundle, I definitely want to buy that game. Of course, I also have a freedom of choice whether I want to buy a bundle or not, so I usually calculate how much time it will take me to sell these games on and how much of a hassle it's gonna be, then how much profit I will make from this particular purchase, and then I decide whether I want to buy it or not. Right now at home I still have quite a big collection of games that I'm planning on selling on, but I'm not in a hurry, and I think that besides a business idea of me trying to sell these games on right now, it's a good idea to keep the rarest of them because the value keeps going up. So I look at it not just as a business model to get quick cash right now, but also as an investment. So over the last 3 months I've made a profit of £3,670, and that only includes the games that I have already sold on. But as you can understand, the value of the games that I bought and that are still in my house is several thousands more. But I didn't want to include those thousands into this particular video because they haven't been sold yet. That means that I have this asset in the house, but I still don't have the cash. Nevertheless, even counting the cash that I actually already have in my pocket, it's been over £1,000 per month, which makes me very happy. I spend about 1 to 2 hours a day. The majority of the time is taken by negotiating the price and trying to find the bundles. But I'm amazed by the number of people that don't know the value of the games that they are selling, or maybe the people who don't want to have a hassle of selling the game to actual collectors. They just want to get rid of them because they see it as rubbish. And I'm also amazed by the number of people who are collecting the games and are prepared to pay hundreds of pounds for the game that was created 30 years ago and doesn't necessarily have the best graphics. And it's that why it's so easy to find the games at a low price and to sell them on with a very high margin. Okay guys, that's it. If you are interested, I'll give you more information and details on how to find games, which games are more valuable and which games are less valuable. If you're interested in that type of information, then please leave the comment below this video, and I hope to see you soon in my next videos. Bye bye.